Jesus. My. Let's just hold our Bibles up together. Those of you, if you don't have a Bible, that is all right. You're our guest today. We'll allow you to stand next to somebody and give God praise right along with them. Amen. And I just want you to repeat after me. This is my Bible. I love my Bible. I cherish my Bible. And I know that this Bible is the word of the living God. Look at three people, tell them it sure enough is. Ain't nothing you can do about it. Nothing you can do about it. Let's go to Exodus chapter 4. We're going to just start here to interrupt a situation that's already going on. I'm so glad to see all of my people, my lifers, in the house today. I was just thinking about what Destiny was saying, and some of y'all watch the news. I'm out there in the news. And when I tell you that they said over the last 2 days, we've had 9 shootings, including a 6-year-old. Who shoots a 6-year-old? There's got to be some evil in the world today. But we thank God that we have a God. That we have a God that delivers us, keeps us safe. We can dwell in the secret place under the shadow of the Most High. And we're grateful for that. Are y'all ready today? Exodus chapter 4. I'm going to read from the Amplified. You can follow along with me. I'm going to read a few verses, so just follow along with me. Then Moses answered the Lord and said, "What if they will not believe me or take seriously what I say? For they may say, the Lord has not appeared to you." You don't know Jesus. And the Lord said to him, "What is that in your hand?" And he said, "A staff." Then he said, "Throw it on the ground." So Moses threw it on the ground, and it became a living serpent, like the royal symbol on the crown of Pharaoh. And Moses ran from it. But the Lord said to Moses, "Reach out your hand and grasp it by the tail." So he reached out his hand and caught it, and it became a staff in his hand. "You shall do this," said the Lord, "so that the elders may believe that the Lord, the God of their fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, has most certainly appeared to you." Now, I'm going to do my best to preach to everybody today, but I really want my men to pay special attention today, because I've asked God to give me something for us, specifically and divinely. But we all gonna get something, all right? So I'm gonna have all of you touch 3 people and tell them, just start with this. You may be seated. As I think about the focus of the attack of the enemy, I realized something about the enemy over and over and over again. And what I realized is that he really doesn't have any new tricks. That he is bound to the realms of control that we are bound to. that Ecclesiastes speaks to mankind as well as it speaks to the enemy. That there is nothing new under the sun. That all is but vanity under the sun. And I want you to recognize this as well, because if you don't recognize this truth, then you'll think that the enemy has a bag full of new ways to get you. And you will believe that there is no way for you to be in defense against his attacks. If you think that he can just follow you around and then say, you know what, I'm going to come up with something that they've never seen before to attack them, then you will live your life recklessly and in fear, because you will think that there is absolutely nothing you can do to stop the enemy's attacks from being successful in your life. I believe that this is a thing that is happening in this generation because his tricks are not new. His tricks are the same. He's attacking the men in this generation just like he did in Exodus generation. What do you mean by that? Well, it's interesting, because one of the plans of Pharaoh as an enemy to God and the people of God was not to attack the women, but it was to take the firstborn male of every household of the people of God. There is a significance in this. Number one, the significance is that if he attacks the male, he attacks the seed. I don't want to get in no gender arguments here. I'm not trying to do all of that. I'm just telling you what the Bible says. Y'all not scared, are you? All right. The male holds the seed. The seed is not more important than the soil, but soil is only an incubator of the seed. They both codepend on each other. But what you should know about dirt, what you should know about soil, is that the difference between dirt and soil is that soil has already been pre-prepared to receive the seed because it is soil. Everybody just say the seed is important. If it's going to be reproduced, you got to have seed. You can have one plot of soil and many seeds, or you can have many plots of soil and one seed. Now, if you have many plots of soil and only one seed, you can only grow one thing. But if you have one plot of soil and many seed, you can still grow multiple things. Are you catching on what I'm saying? So the enemy says, I need to stop the contagiousness of holiness. I need to stop people of God from reproducing. So I don't need to take out the women. Not saying that women are not important. We know that they're important. If it weren't for women in the church, we probably wouldn't have one. Okay. I listen to all these folk talking about how women can't do this in the church and how women can't do that in the church and how women can't preach. There is a season when that's all we had. That if God wasn't using the women, I don't know if it would. But the point is that there can be no true reproduction until we get a hold to the seed. The seed is vital. The seed is vital for growth. Seed is vital for nurturing. Everything that you know in the world right now stems from a seed. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. The Spirit of God moved upon the face of the water, and then God said, hold on to said. Then God said, let there be light, and there was light. The evening and the morning was first day, said it was good. And then God comes back, and he keeps doing this over and over and over again. He even establishes the difference between male and female. He said, the male is the one I'm giving the seed to. If you ever questioning who the man is, I'm not trying to get into no argument with nobody. You can believe what you want. Go with all your stuff. I'm not trying to do that. I'm telling you what the Bible says. We're Bible believing, Bible teaching, Bible studying people, right? The Bible says you don't have to go with X, Y, chromosome, all of that stuff. Who got the seed? Because whoever got the seed, that's the male. Look around the room, say that's the man. I know, because some ladies are confused about this. You think you the man in the relationship. I see you getting ready to want to serve and celebrate Father's Day like you celebrated Mother's Day because you want to say to yourself, well, I had to be the mama and I had to be the daddy. And I hear what you're saying, but let me just share this with you. You have never been the daddy. Because if you were the mama and the daddy, you wouldn't have needed a daddy. Every woman got here from a daddy. Look, I'm preaching to the men. Y'all don't get mad. Don't get upset, man. And, man, you need to stand up and stop being quiet. How you going to tell me you're the man? Because God gave me the seed. And I know you might not respect it, and I know you might not want to hear it, and I know you might not want to heed to it, but at the end of the day, I'm going to be held responsible. Why? Because I'm the one that's got the seed. The one that's got the seed. What was the seed in the beginning? God said. How do I know that it's God said? Because then we go all the way over to the Gospel of John, chapter 1. It says, in the beginning was the Word. And the Word was God. And the Word was in the beginning. It's the Word. He sowed the Word into the world. And when he put it into the world, it began a reproduction. It began producing, because that's what the word of God is. I hope the men are hearing what I'm saying today. God is giving you the seed. If you're frustrated in your life because you're not producing, it is because you are not being the man that God created you to be. It's not that you are not a man, you are not being the man that God created you to be, because you're sitting back listening to what everybody else has to say instead of sowing the seed God gave you. You've been sowing a lot of human seed. You need to sow a lot of other seed. It's not in the notes. Pastor Larry. It's not. If you being fruitful and multiplying on the physical side, but you're not being fruitful and multiplying on the spiritual side, you're going to be in deficit all the time. Because the first seed you need to be sowing is the word. Before you get some other seed bringing them into the world, you need to know how to sow the seed of the word of God. You need to know how to say what you mean and mean what you say. You need to know how when you say something, then you put yourself in motion to produce what it is that you said, so that you are not a liar with the seed of God. You carry the seed. Man, you a bad man. I wish somebody would look around at a brother right now and say, you a bad man. You a bad man. You may not know it because you haven't been being it, but you a bad man. You a bad man right now. If you get up and go to work, you a bad man. If you know how to take care of your family, you a bad man. If you put gas in your own car, you a bad man. If you pay your own bills, you a bad man. If you ain't never left your children behind, you a bad man. Somebody needs to praise God for some bad brothers in here. I'm going to say this real quick, but sometimes we don't celebrate them enough. Come on, ladies. Come on, ladies. You always got something negative to say. Always got something to put down and say. Never say nothing nice. Never say nothing praiseworthy. Never say nothing uplifting. And now your brother's scared to come in the house. He drive home from work and sit in the driveway for 3 hours because he's trying to figure out how to get enough strength to come in the house. Because he know instead of you saying, baby, how you doing today? He going to come in and say, why you ain't take out the garbage? And why you ain't do this? And why you didn't do that? And why you didn't do that? I want somebody to acknowledge that if you got a man in your life, he a bad man. So busy looking at what he hasn't produced, you forgot to thank him for what he did. I know y'all wouldn't expect. Didn't come for this. I've been out the pulpit for 5 Sundays, man. I don't know what you expected, but it is what it is. And that's why the enemy attacks him. Ladies, make sure you're not being used by the enemy. I know maybe your daddy didn't get it all right. But if you knew how hard it was for him to get it a little bit right, you might celebrate him a little bit more. It's really easy to judge other people when you've never been in their shoes. And again, I'm not belittling women. I'm going to move on. I'm not belittling women. I'm just saying to you that slavery and everything, it did a number on us. It did a number on us. It turned us against each other. Well, we don't even realize this is not the way to operate. And I'm not just talking about husband and wife, boyfriend and girlfriend. I'm talking about brothers and sisters. I'm talking about mothers and sons. I'm saying we've got a problem in the world. And maybe we could curb it if we would understand why he's under attack. Maybe he's important to your sustenance. Maybe he's important to your well-being. Maybe he's important to your power. Maybe he's important to your strength. Maybe, I'm just throwing it out. Maybe he's important to your healing. Maybe he's important to your deliverance. Maybe he's important to your joy. Maybe he's important to your peace of mind. I can tell you this, it's better for 2 to be in the house than 1. All the single ladies, Because Beyonce got y'all on some other stuff. She got y'all feeling real good about that. All the single ladies, all the single. Like y'all don't need nothing and y'all around. But I be watching y'all crying when it comes bill time. Ain't got to pay it by yourself. Come on, some. Oh, Lord. Don't touch it. Don't. Trying to convince all your little friends you don't need nobody. I don't need no man in my life, whatever, whatever. But you sit at the house by yourself crying. Wish somebody was here to help me. That's what I'm saying. Let me get out of this. The man is under attack. I'm talking, brothers, y'all better learn how to shout louder when I'm preaching for you, because y'all don't let these ladies make more noise than y'all. That's why y'all don't get preached to a whole lot, because y'all be sitting back there looking all cool. I'm trying to be on your side. I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help you out. He's important because he carries the seed, and that's why the enemy is after him now, just like the enemy was after him then. Because if you want to neutralize, if you want to suspend, if you want to extract, then you go after the seed. And the enemy was doing that, and that's why the story of Moses is so miraculous. Because it opens, the story of Moses opens with God showing how, even though the enemy's plan is to steal the seed, many are the afflictions but God can deliver us from all. He literally, because this is what you got to ask yourself. If the firstborn males, who were the authority of families in that day, were being killed, there was a lot of boys being killed. Who was left to get Moses' mama pregnant? God had to preserve somebody, meaning out of all the attacks of the enemy, somebody was being covered by God. Some man who was a part of everything else that was going on, God had to tuck him away. Not so that he could be the man, but so that he could be the seed of the man. God had to tuck him away. I'm here to say, some brother, you making it through because, not necessarily because you're the man, but what you carrying is important to the next generation. You've been out there in the same craziness that everybody else has been out there in. You've been out there dealing with the same shootings, with the same killings, with the same murders, with the same robberies, with the same drug dealing, with the same drug smoking, with the same liquor drinking. You've been out there at the same parties as everybody else. Every time you go out, you come back knowing somebody that you were hanging out with got killed or murdered. Haven't you thought for one moment, why hasn't that happened to me yet? How was I at the same party and the brother I went with didn't make it out, but I made it out? Oh, I was drinking the same liquor. How somebody put something in his that killed him, but I'm still here? I don't understand it. I was driving in the same car under the influence. Maybe I wasn't drunk. I was just buzzed. But maybe I was behind the same wheel. I was the one that was driving. How was it that he didn't make it, but I did? Could it be possible that God's preserving you for something greater than what you can understand, for something greater than you can comprehend? that God is preserving your seed because he has need of what is inside of you, and he's just keeping you. He wished that you wouldn't act crazy, but since you're going to act crazy, he got to just cover you until you come out of your craziness. You need to begin to realize God is keeping me. Every brother in here ought to give a hoorah right there. God is keeping me. God is keeping me. God is keeping me. Why you think that the other brothers are jealous of you? Because God is keeping you. Why you think that they're envious of you? It's you don't have nothing. You don't make no more money than they make. You don't drive no better car than them. And you trying to figure out why you hating on me. I ain't got nothing. It's because, not because of what you got on the outside of you. It's because of what you got on the inside of you. They can't figure out your favor. They can't figure out why God keeps doing it for you. They can't figure out why God keeps helping you. They can't figure out how you keep making it. They can't figure out how you keep waking up. They can't figure out why you haven't broke down yet. They can't figure out why you haven't given out yet. They can't figure out how you're not dead yet. And all you need to tell them is, if it had not been, oh God. I wish somebody would high five somebody and tell them, if it had not been for the Lord that was on my side, he's preparing me while he's preserving me. You're under attack. Even our boys are under attack. They're not many. As a matter of fact, the enemy is crafty. That's where he started. He said, I ain't worried about you men. He said, let me get the boys, because they soon gonna be men. And if I get the boys, see, y'all older now, y'all old men now. Ain't nothing y'all can do no more but have dreams. See visions, y'all. Enemy say, I ain't worried about you fighting me that way no more. No. I need to get the youth. Why? Because if I get Alexander, if I get Dijon, if I get Lewis, if I get them, they got the strength. If I get Liam, if I get Javon, if I get them, they got the strength. I need to neutralize them. Because of what they carry. I know you haven't read your whole Bible from cover to cover yet, but that doesn't mean you don't have the seed in you. I know you don't have a whole life where you've been in church your whole life, but it doesn't matter. That doesn't mean you don't have the seed in you. You are important, my bro. Broski, bro dog, homie. I don't want to go too far into that, because I need you to understand your value. And so Moses starts his story being preserved. God puts him in the seed of his father, delivers that seed to the soil of his mother. His mother is concerned. Obviously, he must be her firstborn. She wouldn't have been worried if he was the second or if he was the third. He was the firstborn. He was the heir. He was the one. So she has to tuck him away in a bread basket. I want you to realize the complexity of this miracle. Now, you can't really do this in Detroit because they'll fine you and arrest you. If you ever get a place to visit someplace else where there's not that many state troopers and police officers or whatnot, and it's a body of water, I want you to take some paper, and I want you to put it on the ocean, and I want you to see how far. I want you to count until it floats. I want you to count until it sinks. I guarantee you won't get past, you won't get past 10. She put Moses, a baby, in a paper mache basket and put him on the Nile River. God had to be in this, not only in the basket, God had to be in the wind because he had to push it. Boy, that's why it's so much easier for God to deal with babies. That's why he says, suffer the little children to come, because you can push them. Sometimes our problem as grown men, because I'm a grown man, our problem, we can't be pushed by God. We can't even feel the wind. We're so resistant to God trying to push us that when we end up out of destiny and out of time and out of space and out of character, now we're trying to figure out what's wrong. We wouldn't allow the wind of God to carry us. So full of ego, so full of pride, so full of trusting in ourselves. So busy going after what we want and never stopping to ask God, but what do you have as a design for my life? When you ask God, when you stop to ask God and you allow the winds of God to push you, I promise you that the steps of a good man, of a righteous man, a man in right standing with God, they're organized, but you need God to push you because you can't see him for yourself. He pushed him along. He had to control the water, make sure that the waves didn't go too high to cover. Do you understand how much water God is keeping out of your life? You acting like the ship going down, but you still here. You acting like the flood then took you out, but you still here. You acting like the disciples in the New Testament when they in the boat and the storm came and they crying because Jesus walking on the water and he like, why y'all screaming? Did you realize you still alive? You're afraid of what you're already doing. You're afraid that you're not going to be able to do what you're already doing. People go to the hospital and they come and they say, well, the doctor said that I was, he saw this and he saw that, I'm going to be all right, just can you pray for me? And I'm like, why are we down right now? Like, but you alive right now. So we're going to spend the rest of your living complaining about your dying? Because I don't want to be a part of that. I didn't sign up for it. I would think that when you find out that you're dying, which you probably should already know, all of us are dying. You don't believe me? Take a bath tonight, and when you get out of the tub, turn and look in it. What you got to clean out is your dying skin. All of us are on that pathway. Look at your neighbor and say, surprise. I mean, it shouldn't be. It should be, right? It's not a surprise. He had to keep the water from coming in and then make sure that Moses gets to his destination, which just so happens to be. Now, I want you to realize this. His mother put him on the river in a basket. She got to work before he got there. How's that? She put him on the water first. She left after he left. But she got to work where she was sending him before he got there. I know she got to work before he got there because when Pharaoh's wife pulled Moses out of the water, she called for his mother. Not knowing that it was his mama. God is doing this thing. Men, do you see how much protection you have over you when you got a partnership with God? She called for his mother, and his mother came. She said, look at my son. And the mother had to have a particular strength to not scream out what some of y'all are screaming. That's my child. I know you act like that because when your mother trying to tell you something about your child, you that. But I'm just saying, Mama, that's mine, and I'm the mama, and I mean, I don't mind you telling me something every now and then, but I'm saying, but this is my child, though. I'm the one that's got to make the foundation for it. I must be preaching too hard. Some of y'all looking mad already. We ain't even halfway through yet. Y'all are already mad. She came and they raised him. He was being raised in the wisdom of the world through his Egyptian upteaching. But thank God for a good mama. We never hear about his biological father. But his mom was able to be there to teach him the ways of the Lord. Moses grows up and realizes who he really is. Now, he's been brought up in Egypt. He's learned all the Egyptian customs. He's learned all their ways. But some kind of way, he found out that the way he was living wasn't really who he was. That the way he was behaving in his life, his lifestyle, his customs that he thought belonged to him, he thought he was being original. He thought he was being the man. But one day, he found out that he wasn't really living who he really was. And then he did something so brave that I'm asking men to do here today. When he realized that he wasn't really being who he really was, he stopped being who he was so that he could become who he is. I probably need to say it one more time, make sure I get it. When he realized that his lifestyle, his behavior, his habits, his customs weren't really who he was, they didn't really match his true identity, he stopped living a false identity so that he could start living his true identity. And this was the braveness of it. Hear me out, nephew. This was the braveness of it. He started living his true identity, although his true identity was poor than his false identity. He started living and made a decision to live his true identity, even though he had to give up the ring, even though he had to give up the clothes, even though he had to give up the women. Oh my God. No, I'm sorry. No, sir. He had to give up the fancy rides. He had to give up the little crown he had. He had to give up his position. What he gave up in the natural was worth more than what he gained in his true identity in the natural. But he was so dissatisfied with himself when he found out, no wonder this crown don't feel good on my head. No wonder this ring feel heavy on my hand. No wonder every time I put this robe on, it don't feel like it really fit me. No wonder I'm supposed to be riding in the chariot, but I want to jump out and help the slave. No matter what, now I get it. It's because the thing that's nagging me is that I'm not living up to my true identity. The thing that's bothering me is that I'm impressing all of my friends, but I'm not impressing myself. I'm doing everything to put a smile on her face, but one day she's going to be dissatisfied with me because she's going to find out that I was only doing that to put a smile on her face. It's not truly who I am. And what do you do when you have a moment of wake up and realize that for years you thought you were cool, but that's not your true identity? You thought you had it going on, but that's not your true identity. You thought you was player. That's not your true identity. You thought that's not your true identity. No wonder you move away from the people who try to bring out of you what your true identity is. Is that the reason why a lot of men don't come to church? Because they don't want to hear me tell them that you are living outside of your true identity. Really, you are not Clark Kent. You are really Superman. But like Clark Kent, you didn't fell so head over heels with being normal that you decided to leave your cape off and just put on a suit for the rest of your life. Now, remember when Clark Kent gave up his superpowers? Then he was sitting in the cafe, and the men started talking about him. And he had been Clark Kent and had been begging to be Clark Kent, and now he forgot that he had asked and begged to not be Superman. So now he tried to handle the fight the same way he was when he was Superman, and they beat him. They beat him up. They beat him up. He was embarrassed. Lois trying to figure out what's wrong with him. Everybody's, oh my goodness, everybody knew his identity, and he had to say, it's because I gave up who I truly am so that I could satisfy other people. There are some folk that's comfortable with you right now because you're not being who you truly are. When they find out who you truly are, you become superhero again. When you get your powers back, Moses realizes, I've been living the life of a false king when really I'm the slave king. So he gave up everything. They were trying to sneak him things. He said, I can't take it. I'd rather be, listen to this, man, I'd rather be who God created me to be, even if it's a slave, than I would to spend one more moment being somebody that I wasn't created to be. That takes some self-searching right there. That takes you to realize that you're killing yourself. No wonder you're wrestling with depression. No wonder you're secretly dying on the inside. Because you think that you should be proud. But your true identity is saying, no, you need God. Moses gives it up, and he goes and he starts living amongst his people. And he starts finding out what his true identity is. When he starts finding out what his true identity is, he gets so into it that he sees an Egyptian beating a slave. Moses, who has lived an Egyptian life, he knows what the punishment is. But his true identity was so angry that people would take advantage of weaker people that he said, I have to do something about it. He couldn't sit there, like some of the men today and continue selling drugs and then talk about how bad their neighborhood is. Am I going to get in? Am I okay? Moses couldn't sit and watch and know who shot the 6-year-old and then not say nothing. It ain't my child, it ain't my business. Moses couldn't watch an elder have someone break into her home and rape her, know what's going on, and not try to do anything about it. I'm not trying to create vigilantes. I'm just saying to you, something happens when you realize your true identity is in God. Then you stop saying, that's they hood, and you start saying, this my hood. Then you stop letting things go on, and you stop participating in certain things. Why? I know this is hurting. It's going to hurt your pocketbook a little bit. It's going to hurt your friendships a little bit. But when you realize who you truly are in God, you can't just sit back and allow the enemy to take advantage of the weakness of families, children, sons and daughters, nephews and nieces. And at some point, you have to get out there and you got to do something. And not only do you have to do something, you might actually have to fight. Moses couldn't just jump in and say, stop. Don't do that. Because remember, he had given up his Egyptian status. So he said, the only way I'm going to stop this evil from happening is I got to get in there and fight him. And one of us might not make it out. And that's how we got to get when we start talking about evils of the world, when we start talking about problems and trials and tribulations of the world. We have to get to a place, men, where we are tired of seeing mothers crying, where we are tired of seeing children put in the ground. I'm so sick and tired of candlelight vigils and balloon releases and pouring out liquor over somebody that can't drink it. I'm so sick and tired of men coming together. We know what's happening. We know what's going on. Nobody came together to try to prevent it. But now we want to come together and talk about how much that's my dog. How I'm going to miss him. How he was a real one. Guess what? Now he real dead. I got to talk to you. You may not be a part of it. I don't do that. I don't do that. I don't do all of that. Right. But you're not doing anything about it. If you're not doing anything about it, then you are not utilizing your seed. You're not utilizing your power. Moses utilizes his power, and he goes in and he neutralizes the problem. And then he realizes, I got to get out of town. Because the new Pharaoh, who's my pseudo brother, he doesn't really like me. So he leaves. And where we find Moses in this story is he is standing before a burning bush, having a conversation with God. Man, isn't it something when God interrupts your life? Moses was off doing his own thing. He had then got married. He had then got a job. He was tending the sheep. He had a little land, little space. He wasn't bothering nobody. And then God just showed up in his life. And God showed up in a way, God didn't go straight to him and say, Moses, it's me. I want to talk to you. No, God just kept being God. And Moses just noticed that God was being God. He saw that bush burning. He said, I don't know how. Yesterday when I came out, that bush was burning. I just knew it was going to be consumed. And then I came out today, and the bush still burning. And I just knew it was going to be consumed. And I came out the next day, and the bush was still burning. And it's not burning up. He says, let me go and investigate. Brother, if you slow down your life a little bit and start investigating some things that's going on in your life, you will realize it was God. I know you think it's because you got that good job. That's why you got the house. I know you think that it's because you got the hookup. That's how you got the car. I know you think that that's what you've been living out because you just got it going on. I know you think it's your strength, your power, your time. I know. But when you slow yourself down just enough to step outside of your arrogance, you will realize that the good things that happened to you, as the song said, God did it. That everything, not some things, not a few things, not a couple of things, but everything that happened in your life that produced goodness in your life, God did it. Your girl didn't do it. Your wife didn't do it. Your children didn't do it. Your job didn't do it. Your money didn't do it. Your intelligence didn't do it. Your schooling didn't do it. Your smartness didn't do it. If it hadn't been for God, who organized everything in your life. And if you would slow down a little bit and stop trying to date everybody, if you would slow down a little bit and stop trying to smoke everything, if you would slow down a little bit and stop trying to sip past, if you would slow down a little bit and stop watching TV, if you would get off the video game and slow down a little bit, you playing Call of Duty and God trying to call you to duty. If you would slow it down a little bit, you would recognize, man, this thing right here, I thought I did it, but that was God burning all the time. He's trying to get my attention. He's trying to get me to just come over there and have a conversation with him. He's trying to get me to just hear what it is he got to say. If I would just recognize, and ladies, for you too, it's some burning bushes that you keep walking by. You're scared to go over there and investigate. But guess what? It's not going to stop burning. It's going to keep burning till you go over there and have a conversation. I know you don't want to have a conversation with that burning bush because you're scared that burning bush going to tell you some stuff that you do not want to hear. And I'm here to tell you, it ain't no secret. God ain't playing with you. He going to tell you some stuff that you really don't want to hear. But I promise you, if you go ahead and suffer through it, that at the end of that conversation, you're going to be much better. Why? Because it's in that conversation with the burning bush that Moses, now he discovers his real identity. Not his true one, his real identity. See, he thought his real identity was that he was not truly an Egyptian, but he was an Israelite slave. But now God is getting ready to tell him what his true identity is. His real identity is wrapped up in his purpose. It's wrapped up in why I preserved you, why I protected you, why I kept you, why I wouldn't let the devil take you out, why I wouldn't let the Egyptians kill you, why you made it through, how you got out the car accident, why you didn't get shot when you should have got shot, why you didn't get stabbed when you started to fight, why that drink that you picked up after you left it on the table for an hour, it didn't kill you. Why? God's going to begin to tell you why you're here. And the greatest day of your life is not discovering that you're here. It's discovering why you're here. Men, if you knew why you were here, if you knew the purpose that God had laid out for you, if you really understood why God employed all those angels to keep you and to keep you safe and to keep your mind right, even though you were acting crazy, if you really understood your divine purpose, it would all begin to make sense. Moses said, I'm that guy. apparently, God, you don't know me. You do realize that I'm a slave. Like I'm not really an Egyptian. I mean, he go tell him his whole pedigree, and God, you do realize, like, I ain't got no money. I don't, I'm not really all that. I killed a man, right? I can't deal with you and I done killed him. I done committed a sin. That's the greatest sin. You said, thou shalt not. I mean, I did it. So surely you can't use me after I've done all the stuff that I've done. Surely you can't use me. Could it be possible that God already know all the stuff you've done and he still got a call of purpose in your life? That when you act outside of who you are in God, it doesn't change God's purpose in you. It might make it harder for you to actually do it. It might bring some complications with your understanding. You might get tired a little bit faster and a little more, but at the end of the day, you still gotta do what God put you here to do. You can do it with a cigarette in your hand or without. You can do it with weed in your pocket or without. You can do it with liquor or without. You can do it with 3 girlfriends or without. You can do it with 16 children or without. However you want to do it, the choice is yours. But let me assure you, you are going to do it. Help me spread this word, ladies. They're going to be mad at y'all for a little while. Just touch somebody next to you, especially if you got a brother next to you. But you're going to do it, though. You're going to be mad at me, and you're going to be mad at everybody, and you're going to be mad at the world, because why I got to do this, and I got to take care of these kids. God said, because I didn't tell you to have the kids. But I did tell you that this is what I wanted you to do. Why I got to do this, and I got to do this with this honorary woman on my side, because I didn't tell you to marry the honorary woman. As a matter of fact, they tried to stop you at the church, but you said you loved it her anyway, and you was going to do it because you was your own man. So now you got to do what you got to do, and you got to be with some. How we make our own complications in life and then going to get mad at God because he still chooses to call us. God said, I'm the only one in this relationship that can't take back his word. I'm the only one in this relationship that can't change who I am, that can't change what I'm doing. I'm God. So that means if one of us got to change, it ain't going to be me. And that's why one day it's going to hit you. You're going to be out there on the dance floor and you're going to start speaking in tongues because it's just going to hit you. You're going to be out there, got your lines all drawn up. What you going to say to this woman? And when you're right in the middle of talking, you're going to start witnessing Jesus. You ain't even read the Bible like that. But all of a sudden, you're going to start talking about the goodness of God. Where'd that come from? Because no matter how you do it or when you do it, I just want you to know that before you die, you're going to do it. Every knee shall bow. Oh, I'm trying. We like that part, but we don't know about the part. And every tongue must confess. Whether you're living in your pseudo identity or whether you've had a conversation with God, find out who you are. I know some of y'all want to leave out of here so bad right now. You're trying to figure out a way. Can you get to the bathroom and just go out? But you don't even know where the doors are, so you just got to sit there. Moses starts making these excuses like most men who realize that they thought they had given up all that they needed to give up in order to have a good life. Moses, like, I gave up the Egyptian lifestyle. I gave up the riches. And God, you still calling me. See, See, that's where men experience burnout, right? Because it's hard for a man to deal with, ladies, hear me, it's hard for a man to deal with him doing things for you, those things not being recognized, and you're still demanding more things. I'm trying to help. Don't get upset with me. You mad at him when he didn't answer you when you called him, but you never say thank you when he did answer you when you called him. I am not going to get that. Brethren, I'm telling y'all ain't praising loud enough. Y'all better say something. I'm trying to tell you. You trying to figure out why your sons and your nephews despise, because it's hard for men to deal with feeling like they've given you everything, only to find out that you want more. It's difficult. It bruises his ego. And then you want to gaslight him. He started telling you, well, but you never said when I did this, but didn't I do this right? But we ain't talking about every time I try to tell you about what you do wrong, you want to start talking about what you did right. We ain't talking about what you did right. I'm trying to show you how to be a blessing. Every time you want to correct something, you got to come with some praise. Even God followed that model. When he would start talking to his creation that he wanted to do something, he'd start with telling them who he was and who they were. Jonah, son of the living God. I want you to know who I am, and I want you to know who you are, because I'm getting ready to ask you to do something that you really don't want to do, and you're going to need to know who you really are. I feel like I'm cutting too much. Moses is standing there, and he's getting a little perturbed with God, because he's like, God, I gave all of this up to be who I really am. Matter of fact, God, it's kind of bold how you did me. Just gonna send me down there and got me living with the wrong people, and I'm learning all this witchcraft and carrying on, and now you just expect me to to undo what I learned? You just expect me to unlearn what I learned? I didn't learn how to drink with the best of them. Now you just want me to unlearn it. I didn't learn how to smoke with the best of them. Now you just want me to put it down. You want me to puff, pass. No, you want me to puff, put it down. I don't understand how you just, no. God, I've been had a woman in my life since I was 6. When I wrote that letter in kindergarten, asked little Janiqua if she was going to be my girlfriend, yes or no. You know? I ain't really know no Janiqua, sweetheart. I made it up. Moses like, all right. Another reason why a lot of men don't like to come to church, because it's like, Bishop, I never can do enough. I do this for the church, then you ask me to give more. I fix this up, then you ask me to go fix that. I know, contrary to popular belief, I'm a man too. I know what it's like to do one thing. Here it is, you done gave 50 of your $75. And then they're going to call another offering. Perry, they're going to call another offering. I gave you 50. Now you're going to talk about, I hear the Lord saying that there's somebody else could give another $25, another 25. All we need is another 25. You trying to sit back there and act like you don't hear. He was a man of God when he was prophesying your sickness away. Now he prophesying about your last $25 and you don't know. I don't know about all that. I need your help to come over so we can fix up the building on Rochelle. Man, I got to fix up my own house. Is he going to come help me fix my house up? I'm trying to help you get your house fixed up. If you fix God's house up, God will help you fix your house up. Because except the Lord build a house, those who labor in vain. Moses said, I don't know if I have any more to give. Didn't I give you everything? I already gave you everything. You're going to show up in a burning bush like this and trick me to come over here. And then tell me that giving up my riches and exchanging them and giving up my education and my customs and my lifestyle that I had learned, and then giving up the people of my true identity, my true customs, you're going to tell me that that's not enough. You want me to give you my life? You want me to put my life on the line because you know if I go tell Pharaoh, if I step foot into Egypt, you know what he's going to do to me. And I don't have nothing to go. And just like real people today, you know, when God starts asking you, you know all the words to the praise and worship song until they start singing about, you know, do my heart and soul say yes. You don't know them words. They're simple words, but it's hard to sing them, man. Lord, prepare me. Hold on. Wait. Hold on. Why can't we just sing stuff like, my name is Victory? I got evidence of the comfort. Why can't we sing that? Because we're not knowledgeable enough to know that every victory comes with a fight. You just want a battleless victory. Because that's what we've created in this culture. We give people awards for stuff they didn't win. I saw this TikTok video the other day, and the little boy, I guess he had lost the wrestling match, and he was walking out, and he saw the garbage can, and they gave him a participation medal, and he threw it in the garbage. And the guy that was videoing was like, well, why you do that? He said, because I lost. In other words, I don't want a badge for losing. What, are you encouraging me to lose? I'm watching people give kindergartners proms. I'm talking about real proms. I know a man the other day went and bought his son a $450 tailored suit, graduating kindergarten. I say, bro, you could have bought that off the rack and just had it shaped. Saved yourself about $400. But it's because we think everything should be celebrated. We think we should get awards for just participating. And that ain't God. God don't give you an award because you were at the battle. God don't give you a badge of honor because you were standing over there talking about world star when the fight was going on. You're either in it or you're not. I hate to borrow this poignant line from the great poet Ricky Bobby. He said, if you're not first, you last. Come on, somebody. I know y'all seen the movie. Don't act like you haven't. I know. You back there, you seen that movie. You know, Ricky Bobby said, he told the truth. He said, if you ain't first, you last. If you didn't win, then you lost. Moses said, I gave it all, and now you want my life. What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to tell them? Because they're not going to believe just me saying that you're with me, that you called me. They're not going to just take it at face value that I'm anointed. Because, see, they remember what I did. Hear me, brothers. They remember what I did. You're so busy trying to stay in touch with the people who remember what you did that you can't befriend the people that wants to find out what you can do. Because the people who remember what you did are always going to use what you did in order to keep you with them. It doesn't matter how you come up. You can be 20 years sober. And when you go to the family reunion, they're going to remind you of when you fell over in the punch bowl that time. Remember 20 years ago, I got drunk, you got drunk, boy, you were so drunk. Then I had to take you home. I had to pick your face up out the cake. It was so funny, man. You remember that? No, man, I'm trying not to. Oh, you remember. Don't act like you don't remember. They're celebrating in your folly. Celebrating in your embarrassment. Because as long as they can point out your embarrassment and your folly, nobody is looking at them. And you so crazy, you call that your boy. God's trying to change your destiny towards your purpose. But Moses feels like he has nothing else to give, and he has nothing else that he can do. Look at all the loss. Look at all I've given up already. Look at all the trauma. Look at all the pain. Look at all the hurt. Look at all the tears. God, I was expecting you to call me over here and tell me it was going to be all right. God, I thought you were just going to hug me and tell me, it's me. I got you. I thought you were going to call me over here and comfort me, and you called me over here and gave me a job. I thought you was calling me over here so you could tell me how great I am in you and how strong I was for dealing with all of that trauma and how it's all gonna be, and it's okay about what you did. And God, you never even brought that up. You just told me what you want me to do. What else do I have? I'm gonna say I ain't got nothing. Man, how many times do you feel like you don't have anything? What else do they want from me? How much more can I give? I'm tired of people demanding from me what I don't have. Can't they see? Can't they see my value's already down? Can't they see I'm never going to raise up? Some of you in here, one of your biggest problems is you trying to measure up to me. I ain't nobody. I am a man that serves God. People think I'm intimidated. Look, I want you to come in here. Please come in and be a better preacher than me. Please. Y'all ain't hearing me. Help me, please. Come in here and know more than me. Help me. Look, it won't be long. I'm telling you, it won't be long. These preachers will tell you, these ministers tell you, I don't have no problem. The Lord said you what? Come on, let's see. I don't be doing like my daddy didn't be doing. Well, you go sit down a little while and let's see if the Lord wait for him to tell me something. No, you told it to me. Good enough. Come on. I've had more people run out of here because I did that. But the Lord sent me over here to help you. Oh, well, come on and help me then, man. This is what I need help with. But see, they want to help me with my tire, and what I really have a problem with is my carburetor. I don't need a jump. Something wrong with my engine. See, you want to help with what you want to help with. But if you're truly helping somebody, you got to help me with what I need help with. And I am not ashamed. Let me show you how not ashamed I am. Help! You ain't got no problem at all. Help! Help me, Javon. Help me. Help. H-E-L-P. Yeah, that's it. Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. All capital in bold italic. Help! Help me. The Lord said, so you ain't got nothing, Moses? Because this was their thought. I ain't got nothing. Nephew, they say, he said, I ain't got nothing. And God said, you ain't got nothing to do what I called you over here to do? You ain't got nothing? No, I ain't got nothing. So you have nothing that you can use to do what it is that I called you over here to do. Nothing. No, I ain't got no money. I ain't got no job. I ain't got no friends. I ain't got nothing. And God hit him. It was so smooth how God hit him. He said, what's that in your hand? It's embarrassing when God got to call you into a self-assessment because you think you so broke. And God like, you still got a lot left. You think you're unusable. And God's like, I didn't call you to use what you didn't have. I called you to use what I know you got. And you so busy wallowing in your own self-pity and how hard things have been and how difficult and how complicated. Or you're so busy boasting up your chest on how proud you are of all your accomplishments and your education and where you live and what you have and who you're with and all of this kind of thing that you didn't realize that the thing that God is calling you to use, you've been ignoring it. The thing that could get you out of trouble, you've been ignoring it. The thing that could make your life successful, you've been ignoring it. The thing that will show the whole world that God is with you, you've been ignoring it. So now God has to call you into a conversation to show you what you're holding in your own hands. Because you think all you holding is a stick. You think all you have is the money in your pocket. You think that all you have is the beater that you drove here in. God is trying to say, you're looking at the end, but I'm not starting you at the end. And this is where, and then I'm done. This is where it really goes. Moses, if you would stop telling me what you don't have, recognize what you do have, and just start using what you have, I will show you something that you have never seen before. I'll show you how much power you really have. I'll show you how much strength you really have. Because it's not just what you're holding, it's when I get into what you're holding. But I'm not going to get into what you're holding until you start using what you're holding. You can hold this for the rest of your life, and God says, I'll never move. You can hold that Bible all you want to, and God says, I'll never move. You can hold that praise all you want to, and God said, I'll never move. As long as you just holding it because you think you called to hold it. God said, I didn't call you over here. I didn't preserve your whole life for you to just hold it. I didn't keep the enemy off your trail for you to just hold it. I didn't keep them from killing you so you could just hold it. I didn't stop that bullet from hitting you even though you were standing there and it was coming in your direction for you to just hold it. I didn't stop that drink from killing you, even though you drank it after somebody put something in it, but I didn't let it kill you just so you can hold it. No, I want you to just start using what it is that I gave you. What would happen in your life? Men, you've made every excuse and given every reason on why you are not being the king and the man of God that God has designed for you to be. But God is saying today, all excuses are removed. If I could just get you to start using. If you just start using this, seem like a little, but God says if you start using it, you'll find out how much it is. I know you only read a little of the Bible. If you start using the little of the Bible you read, it'll turn into much. I know you don't know all the words to the praise songs in order to be able to praise God up here like Pastor Ward praise God. But if you just, with the words that you know, if you just sing those with your whole heart and put your whole self into it, you'll find out that you'll get the same thing out of that praise that Pastor Ward got out of that praise. You don't need to have all of it to do anything for God. God said, if you just start with the little bit you got. Do not despise the day of small beginnings. God says, I can get in small and make it big. I can get in little and make it a lot. God said, every man in here, if you would just commit to using what you have. Somebody turn around and look at a brother and tell him, what's that in your hand? When you recognize what's in your hand, guess what? The next thing God said was, throw it on the ground. I'm about to show you that it's more than what you just called it. Because when I asked you what's that in your hand, you told me it was a stick. But I'm about to show you that what you've been holding all along, the problem is not what it is. The problem is that you won't let me into it. Because letting me into it takes faith, takes trust. It's a stick when it's in your hand, but you got to trust me enough to start using it, even though you don't see what it is, what it really can be. You don't see what it really can be until you start using it. But you got to have enough faith to go ahead and start using it so that you can see what it can really be. Every son, the potential is great, but the success is greater. I know I don't come every Sunday. Can you use what you learned on the Sunday you came? I know you don't want to hear this, and I don't have all the theatrics to give to you, but I'm trying to tell you, you have been living as a pauper. You've been living as a poor person. You've been living as a poverty person because you haven't recognized greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. Greater is he that is in me than he that's in the world. That's hard to say, and I'm done. That's hard to say because we think the world is so big. Because I got this going against me, and I got this going against me, and I got this going against me. And you don't realize God's trying to show you just like he tried to show Moses. Throw it on the ground. What if what you holding really could defend you? What if what you're holding really could protect you? What if what you're holding really could provide for you? What if what you're holding really could be much? What if what you're holding really could save your life? What if what you're holding really could please God? What if what you're holding is your next great blessing? What if your greatest blessing was in your next praise? What would you do? Like what you're holding back on? And I commend Moses because one thing is true. He gave a lot of excuses. He gave a lot of reasons why he thought he couldn't. But at the end of every part of the conversation, he did what God said. Men, today, God is calling you to just start where you are. Forget about other people and, well, you know, I ain't no pastor and I don't do this yet. And I still got some struggles and I still got some stuff going on and I still got this happening and I haven't completely got out of this trouble yet and I'm trying to get myself together. No more excuses. God says, start where you are. Start with what you have. Ladies, I'm going to bounce over to you. God is saying, you've been making every excuse under the sun. He left me with these kids, and I don't know what to do, and this and that, and this happened, and now I'm out here by myself, and then I don't know which way to go, and now I ain't got no money, and then my job, they took my job, and I hear you, but God said he doesn't need anything from your past to deal with your present and take you to your future. The only thing that's required is for you to just start using what you do have. Let's stand to our feet. Once again, brethren, today is about us. I've designated the entire month to just us. Because the day is over for us acting like we so strong. Like we got it all figured out. We don't want nobody to see us. Be weak. Be soft. We ain't no punks. And now because of this ego and this machoism, the world going to hell in a handbasket. Because we don't know who we are. We just have not accepted the call. With everything that you lack, there's still some little boy out there that could use your help. There's still somebody's little nephew, somebody's son, somebody's male cousin. There's somebody out there that what you have, the experiences that you've had, you could teach them something about how to overcome. Sometimes even how to prevent that from happening to them. But none of that's going to happen if all you're going to do is sit back and watch. Just like Moses, God is calling you to participate. He's calling you to start using what he's giving you. Just start with this. It seems so hard, but it's so simple. First, if I have any man in here that's truly hearing, not the words, but the Spirit, and you have not already given your life to Christ, or you have not already become a part of a church, come right now. Just come. Don't say, well, I don't know, because I ain't like I'm going to be in church every Sunday.